How's it going?
It's going very well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for taking the time to do this interview.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Oh, not a problem. And of course, we're here to talk about the debut release from Nothing Left, Destroy and Rebuild, which is coming out on April 21st through Facedown Records. So I guess the first question would be, how did this band form?
Well, it kind of started as an idea really before anything. It was my brother and myself kind of in passing over the last couple years talking about maybe doing some sort of side project that was a little more outside of the box that we had kind of been confined to with the For Today stuff over the the years. When you're in a band for a long time, it kind of ends up becoming what you can create has to kind of fit the confines of what the band is. It wouldn't have made any sense for us to for instance, I like bluegrass, but if I put out a bluegrass record and put the For Today title on it would have been pretty odd, burn people for a loop. So we kind of had some other artistic interests, and this was kind of a discussion before anything, and we kind of talked about it, and then as we knew the impending end of For Today was on the horizon, we kind of put things into action and wrote some songs, and from there it just all kind of snowballed. We got other people involved, and the songs really took shape with everybody involved.
So did you know that you wanted to go in this direction, or did you just know that you wanted to write something different than what For Today was known for?
I think a little bit of both. I think what we wanted to do is we both were kind of getting excited about music that kind of got us initially excited about like heavy music in general. So we kind of went back to our early influences, the Poison the Wells and early Norma Jean, and just the stuff that kind of first got us into the whole like metalcore, hardcore world. A lot of the stuff that was happening in the early 2000s and stuff like that. So we kind of went back to draw influence from stuff that was initially very inspiring for us. So a lot of the stuff has a bit of a nostalgic kind of appeal to us, and I think you can kind of hear the influence in it a bit as well. So that's kind of where a lot of the influence was. So I think that it just kind of was a natural progression for us with that in mind.
Yeah, and I'm glad to hear that too. And I definitely hear those early influences as well throughout the album, and it's done in a great way. I mean, all the tracks that are featured on the 6-song EP, I mean, it just feels so chaotic and right at the same time.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, it was cool. It was really, really nice to not have any expectations. No one was going to be listening. As far as we were concerned, we didn't know if anyone was ever going to listen to it. So we just kind of got to do whatever we wanted. And a lot of that stuff ended up being fairly aggressive and, like you said, a little chaotic. And there was no like song structure formula that, verse chorus stuff wasn't really even on our mind. I think there's only like maybe 2 parts on the entire record that come back in any song. So there was kind of conventional songwriting even. We got to take a break from doing that. And it was kind of it was creatively liberating in that way, because outside of For Today and other things, I work in record producing and stuff like that, and work at the studio that we actually did the record at. But doing a lot of songwriting with other artists, you're always considering song structure and things coming back and hooks and things like that. And it was really refreshing to take a break from all that and then just kind of do whatever we wanted and break all the rules that we had normally set for things, or things that you normally do when you're trying to make music when you're trying to make music that will connect to people. You just got to say, I don't really care about any of that. And I think the music turned out kind of cool because of that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you do have that freedom, I mean, that is the great thing about starting up a new project or a full-fledged band or whatever the case is. When there is no expectations to begin with, it can just form naturally.
Absolutely. That was the fun part about this is, no one's rent is contingent upon people liking it or not liking it. So it was really just fun. It was music for the sake of enjoyment, and that's really awesome. And then the cherry on top is having people interested in it after the fact. There's an interest in record labels where quite interested to see what we would do with it. So that was just like a nice, rewarding thing, because as far as we were concerned, this was just our pet project that we could do for fun and see what happened with it.
So with the title of the EP, Destroy and Rebuild, is that a personal meaning behind that title, or am I just looking a little too much into it?
No, I don't think so. I think that's kind of part of the appeal of the title is, the song initially I think the song itself is more about the process moving forward. And I think when you try to press forward in life, you tend to have to leave a lot of things behind. You're constantly being made aware of your imperfection and your need to leave those things behind in order to progress. So I think that's the song itself is very internal in that it's about leaving bad things behind and changing from within, and that being the way forward. And I think as a song or an album title, we just kind of felt like that was it kind of worked on a lot of levels because, like I was describing earlier, it tends to kind of hit on a lot of the things we were talking about before with leaving behind conventional songwriting ideas or leaving behind kind of even a legacy. We're all in like this season of change where, my brother and I had our old band is gone and we're done with that and we're kind of on to the next thing. And we didn't want to start where we left off with that band. We wanted to do something different and new. And sometimes that means leaving those things behind. So it kind of worked on it with us individually in our own lives, personally, and some of the things that we're all going through. And then it also just worked as an album title well. It just kind of summarizes a lot of what that record is about, or the EP as a whole is about, and that there's a lot of negative subject matter, things that are struggles and wrestling with yourself and wrestling with difficult situations. And the way to get through those a lot of times is to be broken down so that you can be built back up.
Yeah, I was noticing that when I was really divulging into the EP and really able to recognize the lyrics. I didn't have the lyrics for the album, I just had to go by ear, but the more that I checked it out, the more that it was really relatable in that aspect, because just like you said, sometimes it takes being broken down to be able to build yourself back up.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the goal. I think we really we got personal, myself and Danon, the singer of the band, when we were writing all the lyrics for it. I think we really wanted to hit on things that we connected with personally, and since we were doing it together, we both had to identify with it in some way. So there's things about very personal things for him, with growing up in a very broken home with an estranged father figure and kind of struggling to get older and see parts of that negative character in your own in the mirror as you get older and you see the inherited traits that you maybe have grown to really, really not like in another person, and kind of struggling to come to terms with those things and losing friends to suicide and things like that. There's a lot of pretty heavy issues and things that really shaped him, and and he did a great job with lyrics, and I was able to help kind of bring some of that stuff out of him, and it was a good thing, and a lot of that stuff I think is somewhat therapeutic for people. So that's kind of what this whole thing was about, is just kind of, I guess, talking about the things that are struggles and being open about those things. And then I think people connect with that kind of stuff because it's real.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I mean, whether it's internally with the band or from a fan perspective, when you unleash that kind of aggression, whether it's musically or lyrically, and just hitting those dark, real moments, it is like a purge in a sense, because you're getting those feelings and emotions out there, and it is so relatable that it is that therapeutic feel.
Yeah, well, thank you, man. That was definitely the goal, and I think it happened. It just so happens that we're all in, this process of kind of working through things in our lives, and it's in the political and cultural climate that we're in right now. I think a lot of those topics tend to work on several levels, especially certain songs that are talking about political greed and selfishness and things like that. I think it's easy, no matter where you land on any spectrum, to be able to see that we live in a world that is less than ideal. And I think music that is honest is relatable, and to be honest about the world you live in sometimes and kind of critique things, it's healthy for people to do, and it helps people to process living in a world that is so imperfect, but try to press forward in a world like that.
Yeah, and especially, I mean, like right now in 2017, there is no shortage of inspiration for those kind of material.
But unfortunately, that is the case. And that's kind of, I've had a lot of people talk to me about wow, man, we're having such a hard time. Or what do you think this is going to mean for the world? And everyone's having those kind of discussions. And I said, well, maybe the silver lining is we get some really cool music and art out of the whole thing, because I think historically times of discontent breed cool music and cool art. So maybe that'll be the silver lining for us. Maybe we'll get some cool music out of artists.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, anytime this kind of situation happens, I mean, like punk rock creates some of their best albums. Metal bands start to really get a great showing and some great inspiration. And I can definitely see that happening with Nothing Left as well. I mean, especially if you guys are already going like this with the EP, I imagine when you guys go with the next release, you'll be that much more aggression and purging yourselves through the music.
I think so, man. I think that's kind of the way it tends to go. I think, in heavy music in general, there's a lot of aggression is kind of the whole point of all of it. It's kind of to release aggression. And I think sometimes when things are easy in life, the aggressive music tends to become a little trite and a little forced. And when life gets tougher, it seems like people get a little more authentically angry, and it shows in music. And I think it tends to get a little better when that is the case. So, yeah, I mean, here's hoping that, here's hoping that in the midst of all the less than great things going on in our world, at the very least, we can get some authentic music. However, I would certainly sacrifice authentic music for a better world that we live in. I'm definitely not saying that, but trying to look on the positive side of issues, I guess.
Oh yeah, and I would imagine if things do start to improve in the world from where it's at right now, I can't imagine that the music is going to get any lighter or more poppy because of that. I mean, I imagine that feeling would still be there.
Yeah, I think so. And the moment that we don't have anything to say, we won't make anything. I think that as far as this stuff goes, and anybody that knows me very well knows that I have a lot of things to say about a lot of things, probably to a fault. So I don't see myself running out of things to be angry about. But here's hoping that maybe someday I'll make really, really pretty music because I'm so happy. But until then, I'll just keep making aggressive music.
Oh, awesome. And I'm glad to see it too. I mean, whether it's for today or Nothing Left or any future endeavors that you want to go through, I mean, I always appreciate your style and a part of the music that you've been a part of, and I'm glad to see this take with Nothing Left. I mean, it's great to hear that nice aggressive edge.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to hear that. Thanks for taking the time to listen through the record and think about the lyrics. Like you said, you listened through them to try to hear what was going on, and that's pretty awesome. So thank you for that.
Oh, not a problem. And speaking of that, when it comes to the EP, I mean, with writing the songs and getting the right lineup and everything, when did it feel to start like a real band? I mean, was there like a particular riff or a lineup change or anything that just made it feel right?
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess I'm not really sure. I've been writing music for my bands and other bands and all that for such a long, most of all of my adult life, that I don't really know what it's like to not do something kind of full on. So I guess as soon as we started writing music, it just kind of felt like, well, this is kind of happening pretty naturally. So we put the whole EP together. My brother and I wrote everything in probably a week and a half or 2 weeks. So we just got together, and every day, all day, that was just the focus, was let's just write these songs and get them together and do what we like. And they went through revisions and things like that. But as soon as we had Dana lined up to sing, him and I started the process of putting lyrics and recording all the lyrics for it and getting all those ideas in. And when it came time to figure out who was going to play the drums on the recording, we thought of Alex, who plays in Silent Planet, because he had kind of extended I'll play for you guys if you ever want me to sort of thing pretty early on. And he's a fantastic drummer, so we just had him come record the parts, and he continued to say, well, if I'm not on tour with Silent Planet and you guys want to do some stuff, I'm down whenever. So it was kind of like, well, that kind of worked out easier than we thought it would. So we didn't really have to try that hard. It kind of just happened pretty naturally, which is very strange. But it just kind of worked out easy. So that was a lot of fun. And we did our first bit of shows in Europe on the Farewell for Today tour, and that was a lot of fun too. Just being able to play the songs before, really, I mean, people hadn't even heard them yet. We only released a single song, so we had that kind of new, fresh challenge of trying to win over people with songs that they didn't really know. So it was fun. It made me feel how I used to feel when we would go play places in For Today before anybody knew who we were. So it was kind of nostalgic and throwback for us to go out and play shows like that and have to win over crowds and just have fun and enjoy it for what it was.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the best feelings in a band. I mean, it's one thing to be able to go out and do some amazing headlining tours where people are already coming out to see you, but it's another thing to like go out there and win the crowd over, someone who may not be familiar with you or didn't realize that you're in another project or anything like that. I mean, from getting on stage to the end of getting off stage, I mean, if you can win the crowd over, that is such a great feeling.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was fun. It reminded me of what it was first like, when we were, in 2007, or, when I was, 10 years younger and, excited, like really excited to be out on the road for the first time. It kind of brought me back to that place and, really just doing it because you love it. And that's always good to be reminded of, that you don't, I don't think you should be playing music for a paycheck purely, or playing music because it's all you know or whatever. That tends to happen with some people in bands, is they just get stuck because it's what they used to like and care about, and then it becomes all they know, and they grow to just kind of go through the motions. And it's always good to be reminded of the fact that this is something that I love doing, and this is something that I cared about so much for such a long time, and I still, and to see that the fire is still there, it's really cool. It's cool to see, and I think the way that this band plays out will be much different than the way that For Today played out, because none of us have any desire to go tour 300 days a year anymore. But we want to be able to do it on our own terms, and that's kind of what the whole project is about, from front to back. The songs, the touring plans, even the choice with signing to Facedown is just all about being able to do it on our own terms, with people we care about and with people that believe in what we do. So it was, it's an exciting time.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm glad to see that the passion and fire is still there, because I know there's so many bands and musicians that get up to the level of popularity that For Today has gotten, where they've just gotten so sick of music that they just want to get out of the entire business. But I'm glad to see that after the fallout of For Today, that musical fire is still there. I mean, whether you're working in the studio or working with Nothing Left or anything else that has to do with music, I'm glad to see that the passion is still there.
Well, thanks, man. Yeah, it's I think that tends to happen just because the climb is so high for people. It's so much hard work to maybe get noticed, and sometimes when people finally do kind of get to a place where people are listening, all the work to get there has just totally sucked the life out of them, which is unfortunate. But that's just the kind of I guess they say that separates the men from the boys, or whatever sort of silly analogy you want to put to it. But it just ends up, it can be defeating. It's a defeating process when you work really, really hard for something for a long time, and not everyone can do it forever. And sometimes, and that's okay too. Sometimes people just find out that maybe they like music, but they don't like touring, or they like touring but they don't like being in the studio, or whatever. Not everybody is cut out to do certain things in certain ways, and sometimes it just unfortunately takes a ton of work. You're getting a little beat down to get there, but for the ones that stick around forever, you can just tell that it's real. They do it because they love it. There's bands out there like the Every Time I Dies of the world that have been doing it for close to 20 years, and you don't do it for 20 years if you don't like it. And those guys are able to do many other things other than just music. There's artists and writers and wrestlers in their band, and they still choose to do it because they love it. And that's the reason that band is still increasing in popularity 20 years after being a band. Sometimes I think people can identify that. People can see the authenticity in those kind of bands, and it's just inspiring to see, as a guy that has been touring for 12 years, to be able to see guys that are farther down the road that still have the fire for it and are still writing great music.
So with that, I mean, with all those amazing points, especially with Every Time I Die, but with you, where do you see Nothing Left going? I mean, if everything's up to you, I mean, do you imagine like doing like one-off shows or mini tours or just being a studio band? What would you want to focus on?
Yeah, I think we'll do like little one-off tours when things make sense. We'll if there's a lot of bands that we've kind of forged relationships with over the years that we'd be happy to do short little runs with. We have a booking agent in Europe that books a ton of great bands over there. So it's just a matter of kind of things lining up. Obviously Silent Planet is Alex's main project, and working in the studio is my main career interest. But we all do want to do this as much as it makes sense, and the main thing for us with touring is touring with people that do it for the right reasons, and touring with people that we enjoy, because we're not trying to turn it into something that we're not interested in touring with bands where people will say, well, they're not really that cool people, but they draw a lot of people. We don't really care. I don't have that in me anymore to go. I want to just tour with my friends and have fun and enjoy it. And if there's no money in it, that's okay. So it's really just about doing it for the love of it. So if that means short tours here and there, if that means a trip to Europe, once a year or something like that, great. As long as people are listening and want to hear it, we're excited to be able to go play shows and do things. As far as a rigid outline, we haven't really done that because we want to keep it fun. We don't want to make it feel like a job at all. So it's a fun place to be in because no one is a slave to the thing. I think that'll hopefully reflect in the music we make is that it won't feel forced, because it's really not forced. We don't have to do it if we don't want to. And right now we all do want to. So it's kind of the sky's the limit with that, I guess.
And again, that just makes me so happy to hear as a musician myself. I mean, being able to have that creative freedom to tour when you want to, record when you want to, when you feel inspired like that, rather than being forced by a label or forced by a major tour festival or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
I mean, just being able to do everything on your terms, because those materials always sound better when it's just natural like that.
Absolutely. It's exciting for me too. And to be working with a label like Facedown Records, they get it, and Jason understands where we're at with all of this stuff, and he just really believes in the band and really believes in the people in it and the music that it's being created, and also just our methodology of it all. He just backs it, and it was really cool to have a guy come with that amount of enthusiasm, and that is as much of and he's such an integritous guy. One of the few people in the music industry that I would sign any piece of paper that he put in front of me because I trust him so much to not try to rip anybody off. Because I've seen him take the short end of the stick because somebody else wasn't happy with something. A bunch. So those are the kind of people I want to surround myself with, not only musically, but in life in general. I want to be around people that are integritous, that are kind, and that are passionate. And he's definitely all of those things. And everybody that works at the label is that way. So it's pretty exciting.
Oh, and again, that really makes me happy to hear, because it's like I do the same thing when it comes to interviews. Like I'm so against clickbait and smear campaign interviews. I just want to talk about the good things that are going on and keeping that integrity of not making this whole interview about for today questions or anything like that, because I want to focus on what's new, what's fun, what the artist is actually passionate about. Yeah,
well, absolutely. I can appreciate that, man. I think it's an unfortunate thing in the world when the media it's a segue for advertisements, so people don't really feel the need to be honest or sincere as long as it brings in traffic so they can sell ads, and that's not the kind of that's not the kind of people I want to be around and involved with. So it's exciting to do interviews and to talk to people that share that sort of core value of wanting to do something real and something honest and something that matters more than dollars and cents.
Yeah, and bringing it back to you, I mean, that's why it's so great to see a project like Nothing Left and just really going after that aggressive, chaotic, early 2000s metal sound that you guys really captured with the new EP coming out on April 21st through Facedown. And I really hope that people will go out and check it out, because it is definitely an amazing EP, and I know it's going to lead to a lot of amazing things to come.
Oh, thank you so much, man. That's very, very nice of you to say. And yeah, like I said, I'm just glad that we were able to do what we want, and to just have fun making music and have it be all about that. And for people to say nice things like that about it is really, really icing on the cake for us. So thank you for that.
Oh, not a problem. And again, thank you for taking the time to do this interview. I mean, as a fan of For Today, and now becoming a huge fan of Nothing Left, it's an honor to be able to talk to you and help promote the EP, which definitely deserves all the coverage that it's been getting and all the future coverage that's coming up. But
well, thank you very much.
Oh, not a problem. Before we're done, is there anything else you'd like to mention that I haven't brought up yet?
Yeah, I think you pretty much got it covered. Right now, there's a bunch of really cool pre-orders and stuff up on Facedown's merch now. So if anyone's interested in trying to get a shirt or pre-order the record on vinyl or any of those cool things, there's links to that on all of our social media. And like you said, the record comes out April 21st. Facedown Records. It's called Destroy and Rebuild. And yeah, it's on Spotify and all that, so check it out. And if you ever want to do another interview like this again, I would love to come back and be a part of it, man. Thank you for caring about what we do.